Okay, so I want to talk about audio effects in the browser, how we can use JavaScript to control sounds, how we can make sounds play. So take a look at the HTML, see what I have here first. I have 3 paragraphs inside the main element. I've added a custom data attribute to each one called data file. These are the names of my MP3 files without the .mp3 file extension. So it's an identifier for it. And with my CSS, I'm using the content property to read the value of that and write it out. So you can see right here, I have those 3 things being written out on the page. Now, if I come down to the JavaScript, inside of DOM content loaded, my init function, so when the page finishes loading, when the HTML is finished loading, I'm getting a reference to each of those 3 paragraphs. I used 3 different selectors. One, I'm saying get me the first one that has a data file attribute. That'll be the first one with the clear throat. I'm using nth of type to say get me the second paragraph on the page, and then last of type, so get me the last paragraph on the page. I could have used any selectors at all, just I wanted to do something different here. I'm then adding an event listener for each one. For the first one, I'm listening for click, the second one, mouse over, and for the last one, double click. So those are the event listeners. I'm calling the same function, play, with all 3 of these. Inside this function, all I'm doing is I'm fetching the data file attribute from the HTML, I'm getting its value, and I'm making that part of this string right here. And that's what's being written out here. When I mouse over that middle one, it's going to write this out. So /media/ and then the name from the attribute, followed by .mp3. This is what I'm going to use to play the audio. Right now, I'm coming over here, I'm just mousing over, and you can see every time I mouse over, it's incrementing that. So I'm just console logging that. If I double click here, it's writing out the static one. If I click on the top one, it writes out that one. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm console logging that string. Now, how do I play these effects? How do I get this to work when I interact with these elements? Well, I can do 2 things. One is I can add an audio element into my HTML, which is what I've done over here. I've created an audio element, given it an ID so I can target it. I've got no controls attribute, and because there's no controls attribute, it doesn't appear on the page. There's a source attribute. I haven't used the source child elements. I've just used the src attribute here. I can now change this src attribute to be one of these strings. So we can come in here. Oops, next line down. Here I am targeting that element. We can then do audio.src. So I'm going to set the value of this attribute right here, and I'm going to set it to equal to this variable src. There we are. Now, that has set the source on this element. To get this to start to play, I either have to say autoplay is true, but browsers have started to disable that feature in a lot of instances. So we're just going to tell it specifically that we want it to play, just like that. So if I come over and I refresh my page, and I mouse over that middle one, there it is. It plays. That's all there is to it. Now, I said there was a couple of options. One is the HTML element, audio. The other one is I can actually create an HTML audio element. So if I do this instead, here's targeting one that's already in the HTML. Here's creating one. I don't even have to add this onto the page. Like I have the line here where we could append it into the body, but we don't need to do that. It's still going to work. So I'll save this. I'll come over, refresh the page, mouse over. There it is. It's working. So the doorbell is actually playing. We didn't even have to add it to the page. So what's the difference between them? Well, if I do it this way, I've got one thing that's capable of playing audio. If I do it this way, I can create an unlimited number of these elements and have them all playing sounds at the same time. So if you want to be able to play multiple sounds at the same time, you need more than one audio element. If I So you can see you can have multiple sounds playing at the same time. Now, you could tell by just that little short thing, this can also get very annoying. You don't want to overwhelm your users with too many audio effects. You don't want to have these things playing again and again and again. You want to be careful about the audio, the volume as well. We can come in here and set the volume on one of these to a value between 0 and 1. So it's a decimal. So if I said 0.2, you can see it's much, much quieter that way. So you want to be careful. Be subtle with your audio effects. Don't overwhelm the user. Don't force them to listen to this, and don't do it with no way for them to disable it. You want to be able to turn this on or off. Have a check mark or a button on the page that they can click that's going to set a variable. So we could create a global variable like this: allow sound equals true. Like this. You have a button, they click it, you change the value of this, and then you just wrap all this functionality, or even just this little bit right here. So we can say if allow sound just like that. So if allow sound is true, refresh, I can click, it plays. If I change this to false, and I can do this through my code, all it takes is an event listener. So nothing's happening now because we said allow sound is false. So that's all it takes to toggle the sound on and off. And this is a nice thing to have for your users. Add a button, add an event listener, have a function run that just toggles the value of this variable. Okay, now, when the sound is played, like right now we're doing multiple events, sometimes you're going to want to tie into events. There are media events. I've got the link right here. I'm going to post these in the comments as well. So this media events page on the Mozilla Developer Network, this is a list of all of the potential events that can take place with audio and video elements. There's tons and tons of these. So add them the same way you would any other event listener. So I am going to add this like this. I'm going to call the function goAudio when it starts playing, and then when the audio has finished playing, I'm going to call doneAudio. All right. So if we refresh the page, if I click on the first one, there we are. Has started, has finished. This one's a little bit longer, has started, and then it trails way off. I think it's about 9 or 10 seconds. And then it will finally, it gets really faint at the end. And then it will say finish playing in just a moment. There it is. Okay, so you have events that you can tap into. The playing ended, as well as all these other ones. You can even figure out when it started to load, when the metadata has finished loading, so you can get the information about the audio. Things like that. Very useful to have these events. Now, if you've got multiple things and they're playing and you want to figure out when something has started playing, if something is already playing, if you want to kill the old one. So right now, double click on here, static start playing. So it's playing again. So it's kicking on again and again. What we want to do is we want to be able to control this a little bit better. So there's the doorbell started. There's the doorbell started. There's the doorbell started. If I don't want to have the overlapping sounds, if I don't want to kill the old one, start the new one, things like that, you can track them yourself. So this is just one approach to doing it. What I've done is I've created an object. And I've created 3 properties, one named after each one of the file names, so clear throat, doorbell, and static. I've set them to null. When I'm going to start to play the audio, I'm going to set this equal to the audio element. So right here, we created an audio element. And because we were creating it, that's how we were able to play all these sounds. We weren't just using the single audio in the HTML, we were creating a brand new one. When we do this, what we're going to do is we're going to take this value right here, this fn, which is the value of the data file. one of these three strings right here. We're going to take this to be able to target one of these properties, and we're going to set its value equal to the audio element that we just created. Now this isn't something you could store in JSON, but it works perfectly well in JavaScript. So if we're going to allow the sound to play, we're going to go to that sounds object, and we're going to target fn. That's this value right here. So the property called static or doorbell or clears throat, that property is going to be equal to audio. Just like that. When we come down here and done audio, we're going to do almost the same thing as this. We want to do something along the lines of setting this back to null. Now we need this fn. We need that value. We don't have it inside here. It was local inside this function. But ev.target.source, that is the file that's playing. See, it's being written out here. This is the MP3 file that's playing. ev.target is the audio element itself. So if I said fn equals ev.target, that's the audio element, we can get attribute data file. Same way we did up here. Get attribute data file. So we're getting that. Although, sorry, I skipped a step here. The data file is in the paragraph, not inside the audio element itself. So in the audio element itself, we've got source, which is this whole thing right here, and it could have the whole path with the IP address. So I want to do something to make this a little easier for me to access. I'm going to replicate what was done inside the paragraph. I'm going to create a data file attribute inside the audio tag. Perfectly valid to do in HTML5. So our audio element that we're creating right here, audio set attribute data file, is going to be equal to fn. Now we've done this. We've created data file and we've put that name inside of here. When we come down here, we're getting the data file attribute. So the one that we're setting up here, when we start to play it, now we're finding it and we're clearing it out when it's done. This is what we're doing. We're clearing it out. The last part of this, if we have to decide if we want the sounds to overlap or not. If we want to kill the old sound that's playing before we start the new one. Well, up inside of here, we can check to see. If sounds clear throat is not null, it means we've set something inside there. We've put an audio element inside. So we can test this. We can say, up inside of here, if sounds fn. We're looking inside the sounds object for the property fn, which is one of these three things here, clear throat, doorbell, or static. If that exists, it means that this has been set to something. So we want to kill the old one. We're going to wipe it out like this, but we want to stop the old one playing. Well, to start one playing, we called the play command right here. There is also a pause command. We can say sounds fn, which is a reference to the audio element that was set inside that object, dot pause. So it stops the old one playing, sets this back to null. By setting it to null, it's free for garbage collection to pick it up. This stops the audio from playing, and then we're going to start it again. So we'll come in here, refresh this. So you can tell there's that little bit of gap where it's silent, and that's the old one being shut down and the new one starting. And because we're putting this back to null, it means that the audio element is no longer tied to this object, so it's free to be garbage collected, which is what we want. Great. So that is how you add audio effects and a few little things that you can do with it. I'm just really scratching the surface here of what you can do with these audio effects. So I'm going to provide links to the media events so you can play with those. I've also got a reference to the media element here. We've got the media element. This is the audio and the video element. There's a properties and a methods section, which will give you lots of things to play with. The properties are the audio, it's like the HTML5 audio element. This will give you all the properties you can access through there. And then the methods, these are the things that you can do with it. Be careful with ones with the little flask here. These are experimental properties that don't work in all the browsers. The ones with the exclamation mark, these are ones that work differently in different browsers. Most of the time, they start with MOZ. The Mozilla ones, they're for Firefox only. But these are the two that we used here, pause and play. Those were the two that we used inside this actual video. So I will provide the source code here as a code gist. I'll provide these two links, and I will also create a GitHub repo with those actual audio files so you can use those to experiment with as well. So I hope you found that useful. I hope that encourages you to start playing around with this. If you found it useful, please share with other people. And as always, thanks for watching.